HOA Karen tried stealing Grandpa's tractor, didn't expect a Marine waiting with a shotgun. The sun hung low over the rolling fields of Willow Creek, painting the sky in hues of amber and crimson. Grandpa Joe's farm, a patchwork of corn and memories, stood as a testament to decades of sweat and love. His prized possession, a 1960s red tractor, sat proudly in the Barna relic of his youth, a symbol of his resilience. But trouble was brewing, and it wore the face of Karen Miller, the HOA president, with a smile as sharp as a switchblade. Karen had always been a thorn in Willow Creekside. Her manicured lawn and pristine mailbox were the envy of the neighborhood, but her heart was a ledger of grudges. She'd long coveted Joe's land, claiming its unkempt fields violated HOA standards. Letters piled up, fines mounted, but Joe, stubborn as the oaks lining his property, ignored her. The tractor, though, was her obsession. She called it an eyesore, but everyone knew she saw dollar signs in its vintage frame. She wanted it gone or hers. The tension boiled over one humid evening. Karen, armed with a forged document claiming Joe's land was forfeit due to unpaid fines, marched to his barn with a tow truck in tow. Her heels clicked with purpose, her eyes glinting with triumph. She didn't notice the shadows shifting in the fading light. Joe, now 78, stood waiting, his weathered hands gripping a shotgun. Beside him was Tommy, his grandson, a Marine fresh from deployment, his gaze as steady as the weapon he held. The air was thick, the kind of silence that screams before a storm. "You've got no right, Karen," Joe growled, his voice a gravelly warning. "This land's mine. That tractor's mine. Back off." Karen smirked, waving her papers. "The HOA says otherwise, Joe. You're a blight on this community. Step aside, or I'll have you arrested." Tommy stepped forward, his boots crunching on the gravel. "Ma'am, you're trespassing. Those papers are fake, and we both know it. Leave now, or this gets ugly." The tow truck driver, a nervous kid named Billy, hesitated, sensing the powder keg he'd stumbled into. Neighbors began to gather, drawn by the commotion, their whispers a chorus of unease. Karen's confidence faltered, but her greed held firm. "You think you scare me? I'll have that tractor sold by morning." That's when the twist came. Billy, the tow truck driver, spoke up, his voice trembling but clear. I checked the records, Ms. Miller. Those fines? You fabricated them. I saw the emails. You've been scamming folks for years." The crowd gasped. Billy, a quiet kid who'd always stayed under Karen's thumb, had been digging through her shady dealings, spurred by his own family's struggles with her schemes. Karen's face drained of color. "You little traitor," she hissed, lunging toward Billy. But Tommy was faster, stepping between them, his rifle steady. "Not another step," he said, his voice low but lethal. The crowd tightened, phones out, recording the unraveling of Karen's empire. Joe's eyes burned with a mix of rage and sorrow. "You thought you could steal my life's work, Karen? This tractor ain't just metal, it's my father's hands. My son's dreams. My grandson's future. You're done." Karen, cornered, lashed out. "You're all pathetic, clinging to your dirt and junk while I'm building a better community." But her words fell flat. The neighbors, once cowed by her authority, now saw her for what she was, a bully undone by her own hubris. The sheriff arrived, alerted by Billy's quick call. Karen's forged documents crumbled under scrutiny, and her reign over Willow Creek ended in handcuffs. But the victory was bitter. Joe, leaning on his shotgun, looked at the tractor, its paint chipped but proud. "I fought for this land," he whispered to Tommy. "But I'm tired, son. So tired." Tommy nodded, his jaw tight. "You rest, Grandpa. I've got your back." But as the crowd dispersed, a heavier truth settled. Joe's heart, worn by years of battles against drought, debt, and now Karen gave out that night. He passed quietly, sitting in the barn, one hand on the tractor's wheel. The next morning, Willow Creek mourned. The tractor, once a symbol of joy, now stood as a monument to Joe's sacrifice. Tommy, grieving, vowed to protect the farm, but the loss cut deep. Karen faced charges, But no courtroom could undo the damage. The community, shaken, began to question the HOA's power, their own silence, and what it meant to stand up. In the end, the tractor remained, a silent witness to a war won but a heart lost. Joe's legacy lived in Tommy's resolve, in Billy's courage, and in the neighbors who finally found their voices. But the cost was a wound that wouldn't heal. What do you think? Did justice prevail? Or did Karen's greed expose a deeper flaw in the community's silence?